We are live. This is your time to retrain your brain and to increase your peace. It's called The Golden Pause, and it's a new show that I'm putting together to basically help you and to discuss consciousness, happiness, and creating change with a clinical hypnotherapist. My name is Lucas. And this is episode 1, so I'm sure everything is going to be going just wonderfully. Everything will work just right. So to begin with, why did I want to create this show? And in essence, there's a whole lot of research and news and insights that that can be very actionable and useful for you in your life. And there's the perspective of clinical hypnotherapy, which provides a really distinct perspective that can be very helpful, and our clients find it very helpful. And so I just wanted to create a show where we can share that to a broader audience, including you. And in this show, what I want to do is to help you to actively retrain your brain and to increase the peace in your life. And at the end of each show, we will have an activation or a guided meditation that will help you to train your whole body to basically be better balanced and to have more peace. And the last thing is that this is a personal challenge to me. Speaking to one of these things is not something that I enjoy. I don't think many people enjoy it unless you practice it. And so this is a personal challenge for me to develop, and you can join me in this journey and see how I go with it. And so that's why we've created the Golden Pause. So why don't we start? One of the things that I wanted to share about, I posted it on my X account, and it was around neuroplasticity and hypnosis. I wanted to have a conversation about that. And I shared a post by William Wallace, not the Mel Gibson freedom, not that William Wallace. It's a doctor, a scientist, and in this post he shared a video of basically it's called hippocampal neuron building circuits. So it's showing showing cells being regenerated in the cell, new pathways, new neural pathways over a period of 65 hours. And it's such a beautiful picture. It just looks like a root of a tree or a plant, just branches coming out. And the reason that it's so beautiful is that it's a picture of change. It's a picture that we can all change. Our brains and how we see the world can change. We don't have to be stuck in the issues, the traumas, the upbringing that we've had that have shaped and formed us. We can change, and for you that can be a fantastic thing. For many of our clients, it's always just a wonderful thing for us to see the transformation that can happen quite rapidly as new neural pathways are developed and people experience life in a new way. And so as I was looking at this this beautiful little video, which you should check out on my X page, I had a look at a journal called Trends in Neuroscience and an article called Induction of Plasticity using NIBS, non-invasive brain stimulation, which is therapies that use very strong magnetic forces or audio frequencies to shape and to transform areas of the brain. And they've been shown to stimulate plasticity, the change of pathways in the brain. And what was truly interesting for me as a hypnotherapist is that a lot of these therapies are using frequencies that are somewhere between 8 hertz to 30 hertz and maybe a little bit higher. But in essence, these are the frequencies, the brain frequencies that people enter during hypnosis. And it's amazing. It's amazing. We see it when we help clients, but it's amazing to think that there are frequencies that we enter into in our minds, in our brains, where basically our brains become more malleable. The way that I see it is to think of the molecules of water that's frozen, and as they are heated up, they go from being very solid into a more fluid state where change and transition is better able to happen. And so I believe that that's something like what's happening in our brain as we enter into these states. And it's a state that is entered through meditation, through hypnosis, and through a number of different ways, including these therapies. But this idea of change, of change being possible, is so powerful, so amazing. One of the key people in hypnotherapy, Milton Erickson, once had a client who reported to have grown 2 inches. That sounds like outlandish. That sounds like that's not possible. How is that possible? But research has shown that through hypnosis, people going into operations are able to restrict the flow of blood into the areas where they are being operated. Again, how is that possible? And I guess that's the idea that all of these things have for me in terms of determining what is possible. What do you think? Where are the boundaries of what is possible in your life? Where are the boundaries of what's possible in your body? It's amazing to stay curious and to remain open as you face challenges, as you need to create change in your life, to think of being curious about what is possible as opposed to making a judgment of whether something is possible or not. And as you enter into that possibility, I believe that you are accessing a wider range of what's possible. We don't quite know where the boundaries of what's possible within our bodies and within our lives, but by remaining curious, we are more open to possibilities of that we may have been close to before. So I just would encourage you to remain curious about what is open and what is possible. Well, Andrew Huberman remains and continues to be a really interesting podcast and follow on X. And I just want to bring up a post that he shared. And he was interviewing a doctor called David Feigenbaum, and basically they were discussing how there is a whole range of drugs and medicines that have been shown to be really useful across a wide variety of issues, but that they're typically just used for one area. And this doctor had gotten extremely sick and was able to find a whole lot of other drugs that wouldn't typically have been prescribed, and was able to find basically a cure for his specific problem. And this is a curious thing in terms of thinking about why is there this whole range of drugs that have been demonstrated to have a wide range of impacts across a wide range of illnesses, but they are not being used. So as an example, ivermectin was a famous drug, and regardless of what you think for its use within COVID, it's been shown to be much capable, much more widely able to be used than the antiparasitic in which it started. And so that's one example of how there are drugs that are out there that are very effective, but they are not being actively explored. And I kind of posted that this is an area where it would be amazing, a niche for a doctor to be able to find these off-label drugs and be able to connect them to diseases and to issues to basically help a broader range of people. And why do you think that's the case? Why do you think doctors are not prescribing drugs that might be older or out of patent? One of the reasons might be big pharma. That's a a real possibility. That there may be incentives to try to push new drugs because they make money. Another reason might be ignorance, or there's just so much out there to learn about and to know how different drugs could be used. That could be another reason. But I'd like to introduce one other possibility, and that is connected to what I was saying before, which is the mental models that we bring into our lives, our work, our relationships, in terms of what is possible, create the rooms in which we can live our lives. And sometimes those rooms can be a prison. And so within the medical field, there is a long training. Doctors train for a long time, and it's very, very hard work, very costly. And so the mental model of what is possible and what should be is largely trained into doctors, and so that is like a boundary to what we can see as possible. And doctors do that, but so do all of us in our work, in terms of seeing what is possible is shaped by how we have been trained and how we have developed our understanding. And so again, this idea of remaining curious in terms of what is possible is an amazing hack, for your life, to be open to new possibilities, to facilitate change, and to be able to even see new possibilities in your life. Okay. Well, I also shared a post by the Sean Ryan in the Sean Ryan show, which said, people who have sex 52 times a year, that's once a week, live longer and have lower heart disease and better health outcomes. There's even a famous study showing men who ejaculated more than 21 times a month had a lower risk of prostate cancer. All I can say is thank goodness that I'm a health freak. And that's all I have to say about that. I also wanted to share about a post that I saw by Brian Rommel, who's a legend in the AI space and scientist and researcher, an amazing follow on X. And in this post, he shared how ChatGPT will no longer be sharing medical or legal advice, and he believes that it's because they want to introduce paid tiers, but it's amazing the news that I've been seeing about companies investing in AI but not really getting their return, and it just made me think about how we really don't yet understand consciousness, how big a gap there is between our own consciousness and our understanding of what's happening within our minds, within our brains. And we see that a lot when we're seeing clients, that our own understanding of self doesn't necessarily dictate or connect to change in our lives. Often in hypnotherapy, we are able to introduce change without the conscious mind even understanding what's happening. The subconscious is able to create connections and access insights and resources that the conscious mind has no understanding of, and is able to, clients are able to create change without understanding why or how that happened. And I still think that there is such a long gap between now and when AI will be anywhere close to consciousness. And so those are some of the things that I wanted to share in this first episode. I want to end each episode with a reset. I call it the golden reset, where it's like an activation. It's an opportunity to reset your mind and to access more peace. And so if you want to join me, I'd love for you to join me in this. If you'd like to join me, maybe find a comfortable spot for about 5 minutes or so, if you can avoid disruptions, and get comfortable and find a place where you can sit. And maybe if you're comfortable, close your eyes and just notice what's happening in your body. As you breathe deeply, notice the feeling in your feet and your hands and your chest. And I invite you to take a deep breath I invite you to take a deep breath and to hold it. And feel that expansion as you release. It feels good to breathe. And as you take another deep breath, I encourage you to allow yourself to relax and just feel your body. Feel a calming in your chest. And that breath, as it expands your chest, feel the stretch. And so peaceful. So peaceful to enter a state of possibilities. Where each breath allows you to go a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more relaxed. You might be feeling like a soothing calmness come over you. Such a relief to just pause and to just think about your breath. It's so enjoyable to allow yourself to have a time of peace where you're able to go a little bit more into this feeling. That's it. And your body is learning that this peaceful state is the best state for you. A state where possibilities abound and, most of all, where your mind can pause. And as you listen to my words, it's becoming easier to let go. Just a little bit easier. And each breath that you take, your body is remembering. Peace, wholeness, and in that peace, all your cells enter into that fluid state where healing is possible. Where things can be realigned in your life, in your body. Where goodness can increase. Where joy might even bubble up a little bit. As you breathe and feel that goodness, you might even enjoy that a little bit more. Because this is your time for peace. This is your time for renewal. And so, as this feeling settles in your body, as you enjoy it and you squeeze every little bit of goodness out of it, allow yourself to remember this, to feel this feeling, and to know that as you breathe today and through the week, this feeling can come back. This feeling is yours. And so as that settles into your body, I invite you to come back, to enjoy this moment and to be back. And so now, let me encourage you to be fully back, and I'm thankful that you joined today. This is the Golden Pause. We go live 2 days a week, Mondays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You're welcome to join me. I would love for you to hit that subscribe button if this was useful for you, and I would love to see you again. Okay, that's the show for this week. I'll see you on Monday. Have a good day.